And I think for people like ourselves that are just starting into exercise with chronic illness, that'd probably be a good sort of target to aim for if you were thinking about trying it out. It's just like everything that we do when we're coming around to it with Crohn's and colitis is just trying it small, dipping the toe in before you chuck the whole body in, sort of idea. So you take a small dose, see how you go, and if it's for you, then you can start to increase that.
A good way of monitoring that, especially with recovery. I mean, there's nothing going to tell you more, give you more accuracy really than your heart rate. You know, it's always worth investing in, if you haven't already got one, is getting a heart rate monitor and understanding where it throughout the session. And generally a lot of them now, like the Garmin's that I wear and stuff, will give you actually your recovery period depending on your heart rate and your exertion level in that session. It will generally give you a good 48 hours, say, recovery from doing such a high intensity level. But you know, you get up in the morning, and I know a lot of us can feel very depleted, energy to start the day before we even, you know, got out of bed. So it's good to take your heart rate, understand where your base level is at, and then say, well, actually, do you know what, my heart rate's pretty sound today. I can actually, you know, I can find some time to just get a high intensity session in, HIIT training in, and then just pay dividend then throughout the day through your heart rate monitor, and the next morning see if you're actually ready to perform that kind of exercise again.
So you've actually just been going through this process. So how have you adapted to returning to training? What sort of things have been made conscious to you as you return back to where you were from your surgery?
Okay, so as you know, it's quite obviously invasive surgery I've had again. So I've had the removal of my pouch now and back to permanent ileostomy. So essentially just getting a base level of conditioning together for me. That's kind of where I've been the last kind of month or so. I haven't really hit any high intensity training yet, because I don't think I'm quite ready for that. But what I am doing at the moment, whether I'm resistance training or doing any kind of low level CV work, is listening to my body and how much I'm able to take. It's because I was rested for so long. Obviously, there's a lot, you know, that I'm going to lose in regards to fitness and in regards to strength. So therefore, take it as a jigsaw piece really, that I'm going to start building back up again. I'm not just going to go think, well, I can actually go near the level where I was at before. I know for a fact that I've regressed so much that I need to find a good stable foundation to work from. So every day I'm obviously documenting the exercise that I'm doing, the intensity, the RPE, if of course you haven't got a heart rate monitor, which is your rate of perceived exertion, and understanding that this needs to be progressed slowly and not just go 100 miles per hour straight off the bat. I said, I wake up in the morning, get a good kind of understanding how my body feels, get in to start rehab. We'll start at a very low level anyway, start bringing the body around. Generally there's some yoga or mobility. And then we'll go into our IP sessions, which will be my general conditioning. So it's a bit of all over body work in somewhere in the hypertrophic range, you know, because it's not very high resistance. It's taxing enough for me to kind of get the development out of, and then to basically see how I feel after that session and just keep documenting how I feel. So therefore, if I'd done a session on, say, Monday, and then by Tuesday I felt very fatigued, I wouldn't have to necessarily repeat what I've done on Monday. I will just take my time. I'll just change the session up to something very light, something I perceive very light, and that should give me enough recovery for the following day then to kind of push on again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. I think that's a great insight, because there's a lot of people out there, obviously on a daily basis, that are going through what you're going through right now, in terms of like having been at some level better physically than what they are currently, having just had the surgery. And it can be a struggle sometimes just to think like, well, where do I start? How do I get back up there? I'm like, I was in my 20s, I was the worst. Like I would have 2 or 3 weeks off, and to get back, I chucked myself straight into 3-a-days. And I was lucky that my legs and my body, generally speaking, would hold up and I wouldn't get an overtraining. But I was definitely in that overreaching phase before the end of the year. So I was continuously running the risk. I was just very lucky. So because I didn't get injured, I thought in my 20-year-old self, that's how you do it. It took a lot of time, a lot of education, and a lot of injuries from my mid-20s to my 30s to realize that maybe that might not be the best method of returning to sport.
I mean, your body more than any kind of technology is going to tell you how you're feeling and what you're able to do that day. Now, that's not to say you think, oh, I feel a little bit tired, I feel a little bit, kind of exhausted, so I'm probably not going to do nothing today. It's like you said, just kind of dipping your toe in the water, see how it feels, start something, see how it feels, get into a session, say, do you know what, actually, I'm really not feeling it, but at least you've tried that day. Rather, it's about consistency, really. It's not about crash and burn, as we say. So I'm not just going 100 miles per hour, smash it up as you would do with a HIIT session. Let's get in there, and then you're recovering for 5-6 days, and it's a week then before you can even do exercise again. It's not about that. We say 100% effort, yes, but it's being able to recover afterwards. But you've got to build up to these type of training modalities. It's not all about just getting 100%. This is where I was before. Surely my body will adapt straight away. It's not all about that. You've got to listen. You've literally got to listen to how your body feels and what it's telling you. And it's quite hard, actually. If you're new to training, it's quite hard to understand that, because like we've had plenty of patients before, that haven't done much training. They come in with an injury and they start to do a little bit of exercise, and suddenly they're getting all these aches and pains. But you kind of say, well, you can expect this to happen as long as it doesn't feel completely abnormal or seriously wrong. Then you can expect these little bit of soreness in your muscles, and your lungs to be burning a bit. It's not wrong. It's just listening to your body and understand what it's telling you. It may take them a little bit longer to recover, but at least you can then kind of move on and do more exercise. It's not just boom bust and then that's it for the week. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be fairly low level and build it up. You've got to have a foundation to start from.
Yeah, that kind of brings me on to my sort of next question. Really, is like people are going to read this article on Crohn's and Colitis UK's website, which is a fantastic website, and they do a lot of work in supporting people with our conditions. But like most places, people are going to come to that information and decide to act upon that potentially without understanding what we've just been talking about. So what would you say to someone who is like, if I'm just starting out, what would you say about HIIT training, and what should they particularly focus on if they wanted to start doing something similar to HIIT training?
So someone who's very new to HIIT training and high intensity training, the good thing about it is that it doesn't necessarily, like we said, it doesn't need to involve resistance. It's just basic movements, such as the squat, such as the lunge, such as running. Okay, basic movements. So they're not technically difficult movements. However, what I would say, before you start moving into the HIIT training and start doing kind of maximal effort squats, mass effort lunges and so forth, is get your movements right, is understand the basics, get the foundation of the movement right. Even if you need some kind of practitioner, such as not so much a physio, but an exercise therapist such as ourselves, just to explain the movement. There's plenty of good videos on YouTube to tell you the dynamics of the movement, to understand the movement process. Once you get them right, then start building up in repetitions. So say you've got 10 seconds work and 10 second rest. In that first 10 seconds, in the first one that you do, just do 5 reps, 4 reps, see how it feels. The next set, after your recovery, try and do one more. The next set. So even though HIIT training is essentially, maximal effort, we've got to understand that we've got to get the basic movements right first, and we build up that way. That's a better way of approaching it, rather than go, right, I've got to smash out as many squats as I can in the first 10 seconds. I've got 10 seconds recovery. The next 10 seconds, I can't do one. That completely defeats the object. So it's like keeping the consistency, getting the movement right in shorter bursts.
Yeah, I think that's the nail on the head, really. Minutes. Do you know what? Our wives cannot complain. They're well looked after.
You're going to get 10 minutes back from me now. She'll be so happy.
If you enjoyed today's episode, just make sure that you subscribe, like the video down below, and if you hit the little bell icon, you'll get updated or whenever we put new content onto our channel.